Hey everybody! So this video is going to be 5 good shows or movies on Netflix. Once again, this is just my opinion of what's good right now on Netflix. So first off, Stranger Things. If you have never seen Stranger Things, oh my, you must watch Stranger Things. With Stranger Things, you're getting not only the horror factor, but you're also getting the sci-fi factor as well. Also, you're getting the comedy factor, the drama factor, love story factor. Like, there's something for everybody in Stranger Things. Also, I think it is has a place in my heart because it takes place in Indiana. So, definitely check out Stranger Things. It is definitely binge worthy. Also, it holds a place in my heart because I am an 80s child. I was born in the 70s, but grew up as a child in the 80s. So, definitely check that out. Coming up, number 2, Fear Street. Oh, love Fear Street. I am so hooked on Fear Street. Fear Street has the horror factor. Starting to get more a little bit into the sci-fi factor. You've got the drama factor. You've got the love story factor. Definitely check out Fear Street. Also, I should mention, you get the old school slasher factor as well with that. The Strangers 1 and 2. Okay, let me start with The Strangers number 1. So, the first Strangers is boring. I'm not gonna lie. It is boring up until the strangers arrive. Then it gets good. I'll just say that. It's very, very slow starting out, and you're like, okay, this is really boring. When's it going to get good? It gets good when the killers arrive, okay? So, that's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, and the fact that it's based on a true story. Yeah. Which makes it terrifying. The Strangers 2. I liked The Strangers 2 much better than the first one. With Strangers 2, it still starts out a little slow, but it quickly picks up, and it doesn't stop after that. I mean, it is non-stop after that. And it is terrifying, yes, especially when you see everything that's happening and you're like, my God, this is based on a true story. There are some seriously sick people out in this world. I mean, yeah, I've seen some pretty messed up stuff, but The Strangers, whew, it's pretty messed up, the second one. Yeah. I mean, the first one is too, but the second one is so much better. But definitely check out both of those movies. They are both binge-worthy, in my opinion. Death Note. Death Note is based on an animated movie, that I believe. It's really good. There are parts of Death Note that are kind of slow, but then it quickly picks back up. And lastly, The Ring. Oh, The Ring. Okay, so The Ring came out when around the time, if I can talk, that a bunch of other films came out as well, like Blair Witch Project, Jeepers Creepers, both of which terrified me when they came out. The Ring absolutely terrified me because, okay, here's why. When The Ring first came out, people were still watching VHS movies, okay? They hadn't completely switched all the way over to DVDs yet. There were still some stragglers that were still watching VHS movies. I was one of them. My whole family was, I think, at that point. It was a mix. Like, we'd watch some VHS movies, and then we'd watch some DVDs. And I think that's the way with some people even today. I mean, some people still do that anyway. So, The Ring comes out, and sorry, I have a hair that won't get away from me. So, I saw The Ring in the movies when it came out. And I was doing good, you know, watching it and everything. And then she comes out of the well. I remember that scene so vividly because it terrified me so bad. Now remember, this was this was what, 20 years ago when this movie came out? I was terrified. Terrified. Like, she creeped me out. I remember sitting there and I was eating my popcorn, watching the movie, you know, and I'm like, hey, you know, this is cool, da 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 da. And then that scene happened for the first time, and I remember just stopping, and like my hands dropped, and the guy I was with grabbed my popcorn because it was about to hit the floor. I mean, I was just frozen, sitting there watching it, and I remember squirming a lot after that in my seat because there were some parts in it that were freaking me out. Not gonna lie. So yeah, definitely if you have not saw The Ring, you need to see The Ring. And I believe there's been like a second Ring, I think, or something, or a remake or something like that. I will not be watching those. No thank you. It's been several years since I have seen The Ring since, but I know that it's a good movie. And I know that if you're a horror fan, you definitely want to check out The Ring. And so that's going to do it for my list. But this brings me to a story that has absolutely nothing to do with any of the movies that I just told you about. But I keep seeing different ones all over the streaming services. And that is Hellraiser. Okay? If you are a fan of Hellraiser, you know what I'm talking about when I say terrifying. Okay. I have a story to tell. Okay. It's story time, and it's perfect because you can probably hear the rain hitting the windows. So it's a nice rainy day, perfect for a nice scary story. And this is a scary story. Let me tell you, it was terrifying for me. Terrifying. And one I will never forget as long as I live. Okay. The year was most likely 1994 or 1995. Now back then, when you went into haunted houses, they were still allowed to touch you. That's right. They could touch you. They could grab you. They could push you. They could pull your hair. They could grab your ankles. They could grab your arms. They could hold you. They could do whatever they wanted, pretty much. Okay? I was a haunted house junkie. Me and my cousin and my aunt and my aunt's friend. We all went together, the four of us. And my mom, but my mom didn't do haunted houses, so she would just stay in the car. And we were haunted house junkies. Okay? Have been since I was a kid. I love them. Love them. Or did. So we're driving along one Friday evening looking for a good haunted house to hit. One that we haven't hit already. And we stumbled across a part of town that we don't normally travel in. And it was kind of a higher crime type of area at that time. I don't know about now. I've never been to that area again since this. Anyway, so we see a poster for a haunted house called Churchman's Chamber of Horrors. And we decide, hey, we haven't been to this one. Let's go. Let's do it. So we go. Now we turn on the street we're supposed to turn on according to the sign. There's no street lights. There's no porch lights on. In fact, the houses at that time were spread pretty far apart. And it was sitting out like kind of far away from the main road. So we get out of the van, we go up there, and it was pitch black dark, and we're like, okay, are they open? We didn't even know that they were open. That's how dark it was. And we were the only ones there, which we thought was kind of odd. You know, it's a Friday night. Why isn't this place lit up and lined up? You know? So there was a couple of red flags to begin with, but we pushed it aside and decided, you know, let's just see if they're open. You know, we want some thrills. So we get up there. They're open. They take our money. We get inside. Now, this is a 2-story house, and it is huge. It's a huge house, and it's 2 stories, which we had never been in a haunted house that was set up like that before. We had went into another haunted house, which I am going to talk about in another video called the Hannah House. It had multiple floors as well, but this one was set up way different than that. So we get in there, and immediately there's this guy dressed up as Freddy who is being completely annoying, like a little fly buzzing around your head and won't leave you alone. And of course, I'm in the back. The lineup goes my aunt's friend, my cousin, and then me in the back. And so this Freddy guy, he's not scaring me at all. He's not scary at all. He's annoying. He keeps whispering in my ear, keeps following around, keeps touching me on the back, pulling my hair. Like, not bad pulling hair, just kind of tugging a little bit just to get my attention and to be aggravating. So it's pitch black. You're trying to find your way through. He's being aggravating. So finally I get fed up and I turn around to him and I'm like, would you leave me alone? And he's like, no, I like you. I'm like, oh, Jesus. So anyway, so he continues to follow us through. So you see your normal stupid little jump scares, scary decorations and gory decorations on the walls, this and that and the other, your typical haunted house type of things, you know. And we're like, man, is this whole thing going to be like this? I'm going to have this annoying ass Freddy following me around and aggravating me and these cheesy effects, really. So finally we come to this big open room. And in this room, it has sensor lights. So you walk a certain area and a light will come on and there will be a jump scare or a scary decoration, okay? And it was pretty good, actually. And this room had a lot of live people in it. That were jumping out and grabbing us and, you know, that kind of thing. And that was good. So we're walking around and suddenly a light comes on and I am frozen with fear. There is this huge throne. And sitting on that throne is a man who straight up looks like Pinhead. I mean, the black eyes, the Pinhead mask, the black coat. I mean, this dude spared no expense on this. I mean, he, from head to toe, looked exactly like Pinhead. I was freaking out. I couldn't move. I was so scared. I had seen the movies that were made up until that point, and they terrified me. I could handle any horror movie. I could watch Michael Myers, I could watch Jason, I could watch Freddy. They didn't terrify me at all. I could watch slasher movies and not be affected. This character scared me to the core. And when I saw it sitting there, I just froze with fear. And my cousin comes over to me, and she knows of my fear. And she comes over to me and she's like, it's a dummy. Look, he's not even moving. He would have moved by now and jumped out. It's a dummy. And besides, he's done up so good that, I mean, he looks just like the character. I mean, down to the finer details. It's a dummy. Let's go. And she grabs my hand and we turn and we start to walk. Suddenly I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I thought it was the Freddy again. So I turn around to say something again to him. This time when I turn around, I am face to face with Pinhead. And I mean, this guy was so tall, just like the real guy. He was bent over so he could be eye to eye with me. And we were eye to eye. His face was like this to me. And he was looking into my eyes. This guy, I mean, he nailed the character. And then I passed out. That's right. I passed out after that. The next thing I know, I'm starting to come to, Everyone's running. My aunt has one arm. My cousin has my other arm. And I am literally being dragged across the floor. So I'm able to get my legs working again. My cousin and I get in, or we're all getting into this room, and I'm like, okay, I can walk on my own. We get back in the single file line, and at this point my aunt's like, let's just get the hell out of here. I don't know what happened while I blacked out. I have no idea, but something must have happened to really freak them out. All of a sudden, we get into this room and the doors just slam shut. And my cousin and I get separated from my aunt and her friend. And the doors are locked. They're locked. The next thing I know, and it's pitch black. The next thing I know is my cousin's screaming my name. And she's reaching out for me, and as she is, she gets pulled into another door, and the door shuts. I run over to the door. She's screaming my name, banging on the door. I'm trying to open the door. The door is locked. I'm crying. I'm screaming. I finally get the door open, and I open it up. She comes running out. She grabs me. We hug. We go to the other doors. They're open, and we just take off running at that point. We ran. Didn't even see the rest of the haunted house because we wanted to get the hell out of Dodge at that point. So we get outside and it's peaceful. It's quiet. There is nothing. Nothing. And so we start walking, and all of a sudden here comes the guys with the chainsaws. Now, I'd always seen this happen in movies, especially slasher films, but I never thought it would happen to me in real life. But everyone takes off, leaves me there, and of course I had on high-heeled boots, and I couldn't run. So, everybody's running and everything, and I trip and fall down. And I am crawling on the ground, looking behind me, screaming as this dude is standing over me with a chainsaw. Granted, your mind tells you, hey, it's not real. They're not really going to cut you up. But for some reason, the fear just won't let you free. And I'm screaming my head off for him to leave me alone. And I'm crawling, and finally I get to my feet, and I just, boom, gone. I am out. So we get in the van, and we're all like, like freaking out, heavy breathing, crying, this and that. And my mom's like looking at us all like, what is going on? So we tell her, the story and everything. So we get as far away from that place as we possibly can. So the next day, I don't think it was the next day. I think it was like a couple of days later. It might have been the next weekend, actually. We find out through a friend of my cousin's that place was shut down. It was shut down. The law shut it down. So there must have been several complaints against this place, I'm assuming, and that's why they shut it down. To my knowledge, that house is no longer even there. That house has been torn down many years ago, and they've probably either, knowing my state, they have probably rebuilt either businesses in that spot, or there's apartments in that spot, or luxury condos in that spot. So anyway, so that's my story. And ever since then, I have not stepped foot into a haunted house. A real haunted house, yes, but the ones that are put on for entertainment purposes, no. I have never stepped foot in one, and I never will again. I have tried several times because there are several cool ones here that I want to check out. So I go with the group that's going, like, oh, this is cool, da 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 da. And we pull up to the place, and I go to get in line, and that fear and those memories come back to haunt me, and I can't move, and I become terrified again, and I can't go in them. So it's sad, yes, but hey, I'm a big chicken sometimes. So anyway, that's my story. It has absolutely nothing to do with with what this video is about, but I just wanted to give an honorable mention to Hellraiser. The other day I just saw the one that came out in 2018. I think it's called like Judgment or something like that. Oh my. it didn't scare me one little bit. I was not terrified during that movie whatsoever. Pinhead doesn't even appear that much in the movie. I mean, altogether, he is in little snippets here and there. He probably has maybe 10 minutes of time in that movie, and that's at the end. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. The other movies, they are good movies. Oh, yes, they're good movies. But I just can't watch them. Can't do it. So, anyway, down in the comments section below, we want to know, do you go into haunted houses? If not, why not? And if you have any experiences that you would like to share down in the comment section below, please feel free to do so. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. So this is Spooky Marshmallow, and I'm going to wrap it up for now. Good Lord, it's already a 20-minute video. So this is Spooky Marshmallow saying, stay spooky, my friends.